A medical emergency at Sydney's Bondi Beach. To the rescue comes local paramedic Ben Gilmore.
Hey Yusuf, my name's Ben from the ambulance service. Were you diving under the wave, were you? No.
This is Ben's full-time job, but he's also a filmmaker. And he's getting global attention for his first feature, shot a world away from the sands of Bondi. Ben took his own life in his hands when he decided to tell an ordinary story in one of the most extraordinary places on Earth, the tribal area that separates Pakistan from Afghanistan. It's called Son of a Lion and is about a small boy who wants an education rather than work in his father's shop making guns. But it's the story behind the story that's exceptional. How someone who drives an ambulance in Sydney could wind up in this lawless border zone in the first place.
There's a few checkpoints between now and Darren, so might want to hide that camera.
It's a stronghold of the Taliban and suspected hiding place of Osama bin Laden, the world's most wanted man.
You're dressed as a Pashtun, but let's face it, you're a middle-class Australian, right?
Correct.
What would have happened to you had some of these elements found out who you were?
Who knows? Who knows?
Because Australia is part of the so-called coalition of the willing.
Yes, we are.
So to make the film required subterfuge as protection not just from Islamic extremists, but the Pakistani authorities who've banned outsiders from the tribal areas.
It was going to be safer for me to tell people that I was, in fact, not Australian.
And you did that?
I did.
What did you tell them you were?
German.
Put my contact lenses in because the glasses are not worn by very many people there. I've got my shawl. So hopefully by shooting like this, we can get away with some of the shots. Foreigners with cameras, strictly forbidden.
It was a very stressful 8 months. By the end of it, I was just a paranoid mess.
Only looking TV.
You're lucky to be alive, if I may say so.
Well, I had the protection of the Shinwari clan while I was there, and there is no better protection that you could get than being hooked up with a Pashtun tribe, because they're armed, they're willing to fight to protect you, and they are willing to fight to the death.
It's the same code of honour that protects the world's #1 terrorist. And Son of a Lion provides a unique insight into local thinking on the so-called war on terror.
The local Pashtun people are in a very difficult position. They are simply going about their traditions, their tribal code of Pakhtunwali, which requires them to give shelter to any fugitive. This is the tribal code, which is more powerful than their religion.
But Son of a Lion is primarily a film with a simple, universal theme. A small boy's desire to try to achieve a better life through education against his father's desire for him to follow in his footsteps. It was the clan sheltering Ben who decided who would play what role. And only one actor was an outsider, Sher Alam, an Afghan refugee.
He played the father in the film. In real life, throughout the 80s, he was a Mujahideen militant fighting against the Russians. And Sher Alam has a very notorious reputation as having blown up an entire Russian company from a mountaintop with a rocket launcher. He represents the best of what a Pashtun can be, which is a warrior poet. They are at once very tough. You wouldn't want to cross a Pashtun. And at the same time, they can wear a flower behind their ear and sprout poetry and sing songs. And so I really admire that.
Everything about this project was challenging. A lack of power meant constant battery failure on Ben's small DV camera. There was constant exposure to weapons fire, even if only of the friendly sort. And there was the language barrier that made it impossible to stick to any script.
They were giving me this great emotional dialogue, you know, and I'd call cut, and I thought, this is going to be brilliant. And when I got back at Sydney, realised that they'd been talking about something really mundane.
Mama saya Afghanistan ki yo film देखने नहीं थे ना मुझे जो खेलो
हाँ कम फिल्म
अनु आगे था रेम्बो 3
हाँ
रेम्बो 3
Few films in movie history can have been shot under such challenging conditions. And this was Ben's first effort.
I'm going to shoot you there. This is where the camera's going to be, okay?
And all this on the grand sum on location of $10,000, with another $400,000 spent in extensive post-production after the Australian funding authorities stepped in to help.
Those involved in the film in Pakistan have seen it.
And what do they think?
They love it. Some of them watch it every day.
And for the rest of us too, Son of a Lion is both compelling and unique. But perhaps more than anything, shows what one person with a passion for filmmaking can achieve.
I would have loved for the Pashtuns to have made this film themselves, but they don't really have the facilities. And so if it has to be someone from outside, well, that it just has to be like that.
An ambulance driver from Bondi
Yes.
gives the world a slice of life, of the Pashtun people.
Why not?
And that's our last scene this week. Next time we'll be in Russia. All the glamour and excitement of the fastest growing film industry in the world. See you then.